Alright, welcome everyone. Tonight we are diving into one of the most practical trading success stories out there. Kody Ashmore has turned funded trades into 187,000 real dollars in just 12 months. Let's go ahead and bring him on. Here's the man of the hour, Mr. Kody Ashmore.
What is going on, everyone? Let me get my screen up. All right. Let's see. All right. Oh, hold on a second. Wrong webcam on the hour. My bad. That was my other job. Hold on 1 second. I'm not gonna lie, everybody. I'm kind of glad I shaved my head because that thing is hot. Okay, so let's go ahead and get back to business. All right. So, thank you, Daryl. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for coming to hang with me this evening. I know you all have very busy schedules, very busy lives, so we'll go ahead and get this started. Like Daryl said, my name is Kody Ashmore, and tonight we'll be talking about how I've been using prop firms to leverage the last 12 months up to $187,000. So let's go ahead and get started. And let's see, I want to get a quick thumbs up. Do y'all see my screen? Yeah? Okay, cool. Excellent. Okay, just wanted to make sure. Excellent. All right. Then we will continue on. I wanted to make sure y'all could see what I'm talking about. Otherwise, this isn't going to make any sense. Okay, and if you did join me in the last webinar, I will say I do have some different stuff for you on this one. The last one, we did talk a lot about like more of what funded trading is. And today, or tonight, I would like to talk to y'all about why is my method different. I'll be talking more about my tools I use and kind of like what the difference is there. So if you watched the first one and you're watching this one again, first of all, I would like to say, hey, thank you for thinking I'm worth 2 hours every time. And also, let's go ahead and dive in to see how I'm different here. All right, so fix my little webcam here. It had a little bit of a lens over it. But what I'd like to say is here's a quick little disclosure. Remember, all past performances are not indicative of future outcomes that are becoming. So all trading has risks. Please be aware of that. But that is also a very unique discussion we could also have tonight when it comes to funded trading because your risk is certainly limited, but it does have risks. All right, so this is what you will discover tonight. You're going to discover how I'm getting paid using other people's money or funded accounts or um, firm accounts, whatever you want to call it. And also, I'm going to talk to you about how my tools keep me on the right side of the market. I am also going to talk to you about how my base hits and futures day trading strategy crack the code, and how I'm targeting $10,000 to $40,000 a month. And like I said, I already mentioned how in tonight's webinar, we'll be talking a little bit more about the tools being used versus what exactly funded trading is. I'll talk about what funded trading is, but I'm also going to not go in as deep as a discussion on it. All right, so first off, if you don't know who I am Kody Ashmore, and I want to give you a quick rundown of my story, how I've got here. If you've heard this story already, please bear with me. But basically, like, how did I get here? Like, how did I become a trader? And to be honest, I think my story is very unique, and it is honestly, it's kind of weird how I even got here. All right, so first off, to start it off, when I was in high school. I joined the Marines, did 2 tours in Iraq, got all kinds of like combat stuff, became a paramedic. And then once I learned the fighting and the medicine, combined the both skill sets and became a high threat contractor, a tactical medic and whatnot for the government in Afghanistan for quite a while. And I got there in 2014. And at the time, my son was on the way, my first kiddo. I have three now, but my first kid was on the way, and there was guys on my team that were kind of like stuck overseas. They were always in this hamster wheel of like being stuck over there. And when I say stuck, as our rotations, we were typically there for about 105 days or 90 days, sometimes longer, and all we got was about they said 35 days home, but travel days don't count. So you're basically home for like 32 days. Got stuck there because, and to be honest, we got paid very well being there. and things like that. So I didn't want to be stuck there. So what I did is I wanted to learn how to have my money make me money. While a lot of other guys wanted to play Xbox and watch TV, I turned to learning how to trade. So like I would imagine many of you are wanting to learn a trade is to get time. For me, it's never been about like the Lamborghinis or the mansions or anything like that. It's really just being able to be home, live the life the way I want to, and have bills paid, and just continue living on my own terms. And as I imagine many of you would like to do. So that also goes back to how did I learn to trade? Well, I did find something that I didn't have in the last webinar. So the way I had to learn to trade was the internet was blocked there. We didn't have direct access, so I actually had to go to a local Afghan, and I would pay him cash to go out in town and put data on a little mobile hotspot for me that I could use. And it wasn't the greatest internet, but it's what I had, and it was actually this right here. This thing right here is what he would go and put data on, just a little bit of little thing right there, just a little hotspot. He put that on, and I would use it on my little jailbroken iPhone. It was like an iPhone, I don't know, 3 or whatever, and or a tablet, and that's how I had to learn to trade. So the point of all this is I learned to trade in very unideal circumstances, and but I made it work. I mean, look at me now, and here I am. And if I could do it, you can do it. All right, so I think that's enough about me. However, here's one other little thing that is different. So I learned to trade while I was overseas, right? I got what I thought was relatively decent at the time. And so I was like, hey, it'd be really great if I can trade other people's money. Literally thought it. Prop firms have been around for a very long time. However, the rules have changed a lot compared to back then. I actually started working for a prop firm in 2016. Like I had a like nowadays you just apply online and you take your evaluation and you push it, right? Or you just take your tests and whatnot. Um, however, they hold on, I'm getting hit by the other people. There you go. If that's better for y'all. All right, so man, Cody number two threw me off. Okay, so going back. Uh Did I miss my thing here? Okay, so back of where I was going is I started to apply for a firm right while I was overseas, and the rules have changed is what I was getting at. And like then you would have an interview, you had to like paper trade, you had to write a full trading plan, you actually had to prove you can trade. It wasn't just like pay, take a quick evaluation and get going. It wasn't that way. There was actually steps in a process. Anyways, all that to be said, I've been trading for a prop firm since 2016, and here is my first payout that I've ever received in 2018. And I thought it was unique to share with y'all because in the rise of all these prop firms, and there's a tons of affiliates on social media if you've been watching for a while, and and to be honest, I used to very like pride myself on being a prop firm. Like, yes, I obtained something that not very many people do. But now you pay $50, you apply for affiliate code, and boom, you're a professional trader. That's not how it should work, in my opinion. But I'm showing you this to show you that I have been around for a while. All right, so how I made $187,000 in 12 months. I'm gonna ask you to do something and it'll sound a little crazy. I would like you to shut your eyes and imagine that you are getting paid from that paper trading account that you have on Thinkorswim. I know you were trading it during FOMC today and you did really well. You're like, yes, I nailed that bottom. Now, if only you could take a payout from it. Well, that's kind of like how these simulated funded accounts are, right? You do paper trade because when I say paper trade, they're not hitting the actual market, but you actually get paid from them once you pass the evaluation stage, or you do straight to funded, but that's a whole other discussion. And so if you've ever been a really good paper trader, and I want to be honest, when I first started like paper trading, I was the world's best paper trader. How about show me a show of hands? How many of y'all have been the world's best paper trader, but as soon as you went live, you did not do so good? Like, be honest with yourself. I mean, it's a very common story. In fact, that is why simulated funded exists. So, before I continue, I'm gonna do a quick rundown exactly what exactly funded trading is. So what exactly funded trading is so you'll pay a fee for an evaluation. It's a test, right? You're paying for a job application, a chance to prove yourself. And depending where you go, they have various costs. The lowest I've seen lately is $18. So you'll pay $18. And then, so that's your chance. And then you'll have to get to a profit goal. All right. And once you get that profit goal, you're going to go. and say you passed it there, then you're going to get what's called a sim funded account. Now, once you're in a sim funded account, every firm has different rules. Some of them have, it depends on how many payouts you get, how many times, or how much of a buffer you build. Like there's a bunch of various rules. But once you get to the past the sim funded part, then you go to an actual live account. These, like the sim funded and the live account, no matter what, you're taking payouts. Once you get to the live side, the payouts are a little bit different. You have less rules, but they are regulated more in the sim funded account. Now, why sim funded? Let me explain. A lot of people don't know why this exists. So the way it used to work is you would take an evaluation, you pass, because everyone's the world's greatest paper trade, right? Everyone knows it's not real. And then once you go to the funded side, they blow the account. They're losing money. So these firms started losing money. So I honestly think it was a brilliant idea to say, hey, well, what can we do? What could be a middle place to where they can get paid? Let them feel a little bit of risk of, hey, they get paid for it, add a little bit of emotion before we move them to the actual live side. That's where sim funding came into play. So I think it's a great way to minimize risk and take profit. It's protecting the company, and you want the company to survive. Of course you do, because if the company goes away, there goes your opportunity. So that's exactly the process and what exactly sim funding is. And you, like I said, you could really get started at a very low cost. And it just blows my mind when I actually get some kickback on people like, no, I don't want to do that. It just, to me, it's very interesting, but I think it's insane not to trade with these funded accounts. Um, okay, so what I would like to show y'all here is, okay, like I mentioned earlier, if you've looked on social media, there are a lot of affiliates out there. They're always blasting a bunch of like outsides days. Don't get me wrong, the outsides days are great and everything like that. But I also want to point out it doesn't matter how big those days are if you can't get a payout. So instead of showing you ginormous days, I want to prove to you that these payouts are actually hitting the bank account. Right here, I have Apex paying me twice. I have Tradeify paying me 3 times. And these are them actually hitting my bank account on the payout side. I already talked about a little bit what funded trading is. The main thing here that I would like to talk to you about is um, whenever you're trading a funded account, your risk is limited to actually only the debit paid. And when I say the debit paid, it's the cost of the evaluation. And after that, like if you blow the account, that's you only lost what you paid. So there's no other risk involved past that. And one thing I really want to point out is so like when I first started this whole journey here is I initially risked $2,000 and this was to buy 20 accounts, 20 50K accounts, and I had a notional $1 million. So I paid 2,000 and had a notional $1 million, and then I flipped it into 41,000 in 90 days, and I've just been growing it since then. And I'm going to continue pushing it until they say I can't push it no more. And so I want to keep on doing that. Um, but are you like for real, let me see, is this starting to click in your head? Is this something you're interested in? How many of y'all have actually been trading funded accounts? Let's start there. Let me see, show of hands. Have you been trading funded accounts, but you're getting funded and you're not getting a payout, or you're just having a hard time passing evaluations because something just quite isn't working? Well, I got some answers for y'all. But I'm hoping you are seeing how big of a game changer this is. All right, why use funded trading? All right, I get asked this a lot of times, and I'll put it to you. Well, for one, it does allow me to trade like a business. It allows me to trade like a business, like I am not a licensed CPA or anything like that, but you would have to talk to your professional. But there are tax advantages. There are some ways to where you have your money working for you different ways. So what I mean by that is, okay, so me personally, every time I hit a threshold of about 40K, I haven't done like gone shopping in a while, but I'll look around in the like not the neighborhood, but what's for sale out there? Like I'm trying to diversify. I'm trying to be like JC and have like a ginormous like real estate portfolio or something like that. So I'm just looking around. So the reason I mention that is because once you have like if you have a large trading account, or sorry, not a large trading account, but say you have a large account already, like you could have say you have a $200,000, and then instead of having this held hostage in a trading account, right? Instead of having that there and then you're trading with it, why not put that money somewhere else? Like me, like I'm going to go look for like real estate, or like buy an Airbnb or put one up. I don't know, if you're super wealthy, I don't know, start a like a laundromat or a car wash, I don't know. Something that could passively make you money, right? And so while that is making you money, Then you could have these firm accounts to trade with. So now you have two sources of income. So now you're not so tied into the market. Like you could diversify, you could do all kinds of different things. You're not just stuck on one thing. Also, another big thing is the risk parameters. If I have $200,000 and I'm trading it, you never know if you're going to go on sale. I could easily blow all $200,000. Like, boom, 100 NQ contracts, YOLO, we'll see what happens. OJP is going to wear his purple tie or whatever. And then it goes the other way, account's gone. With these funded accounts, I only lose what I pay in. And then you could start with one account. You can start with a bunch of accounts. But if you're new to this, I suggest you start with one and prove to yourself that you actually get a payout and then compound it from there. Like once you say you buy one account, then you get a payout. Then you go buy four more. Now you have five. Then you get another payout. Then you boom, buy five more. Now you have 10. And you really just keep compounding it and growing it that way. And if you were to lose it, then all you lost was the amount of money you paid. And that varies from firm to firm, but I've seen them as low as $18, sometimes $50, but that is a heck of a lot better than $200,000. Large example, don't get me wrong, but you get the point. Also, another thing here, I don't even remember if I talked about this last time, but if you have a small account, like this changes the whole small account narrative the way it used to be. If you had a small account, say you had $500, you used to put $500 in your small account. You're like, I want to go buy some 50 cent or $1 options, and you're going to look for that big outsized return. No, 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 no. You don't have to do that no more. You just, you have your $500, you keep that, and you're nice and safe in your bank account and you take whatever, we'll say $50, and then you go buy an eval. And let's just say you get that funded. You trade for 10 days, and now you're getting your first payout, which is 2K. You now have $2,400. And the most, or sorry, $2,400. Now, the most you could have lost if you would have blown that account was your $50. So you see, like it really saves you from blowing that one account. If you have a small account and you're trading options, like don't get me wrong, there's a chance you're going to lose it. You're going to have to really over leverage yourself to feel like you're getting anywhere, right? But in this case, you can spend $50 on it and then trade it and then really grow it a lot quicker and safely, in my opinion. That's my honest opinion on it. All right, so I know y'all are just like, God, Kody, quit talking and tell me what is so different here. I'm glad you're asking because that tells me you're interested, and I love to tell you. So I have a few secrets, and my first secret is, all right. So how do I don't want to say like how I got funded. Let's just say why do most traders not get funded? What do y'all think? Why are some reasons traders are not getting funded? I tell you why I think it. But I want to see what you think. I want to take a quick 15 seconds to see what y'all say. Type your hands just quick, fire it. Risk management, FOMO. Okay. Tilt. All right. Consistency, drawdown, inconsistent. Okay. So consistency thing. Over trading, I couldn't agree more, Joe. I bet that is a one big thing there. Okay, so a lot of the answers are, consistency and psych. And I will say, in my honest opinion, I think when the rise of these futures firms started to rise, so when I was overseas when I first started trading, I looked into day trading, and at the time it was day trading stocks. And I used to day trade stocks. I spent a lot of money on learning to day trade stocks. I'm pretty versed in that area. What I will say is usually with those outsized moves, you need the broken slot machine method, right? You'll hear a lot of big time traders, verified big time traders talking about, which is true. You need a catalyst to give you those large, like 1 to 5 risk reward or 1 to 3 risk reward. Sometimes those don't happen in the futures market. They don't, especially with the rise of the zero DTE options. I've been working more on gamma levels and learning how much those manipulate where the price level is going to go just because of how market makers have to structure their stuff. I'm like, oh my gosh, like no wonder the market's not going anywhere. Like that is what's kind of keeping it contained. So those large moves in futures are not going to happen all the time like they do in stocks. So you have to have the right expectations. You need to have the right mindset and the right strategy. So, and another one, I will say they don't understand the rules. So yes, that's one big thing is I don't think people understand the rules exactly how they work, the type of drawdowns, things like that. But that is covered a lot in the course. And yes, it is possible to get funded in 3 days. For me, my average is anywhere from 1 to 2 days, depending on what firm I'm going with. And I will show you now to prove it. All right, so I have been funded in the minimum amount of time required across all the firms that I've tried. So take profit trader, like just prove it, like I haven't, like, Cody, you just got lucky and did it. Well, take profit trader requires you to trade 5 days. 5 days to hit the profit goal. So look, from July 2nd to July 9th, I went all the way up, hit that 6,000 goal in 5 trading days, and then got it funded. Right here, off to the right, you can see I have 5 Tradeify accounts, got those funded in one day. Over here, this particular day, this day was all over the place. When I say that is because I started off with these 20 accounts down here, right? Got these funded in 2 trades, I believe. And I was like, man, this market is rocking and rolling. Why stop here? I need more power. I went ahead and hopped in and grabbed 5 Tradeify and got those funded in a few trades, well above the threshold actually. But I show you this just to show you that it happens over and over, and this is a very consistent strategy that happens a lot. The setup happens all the time. And then here's Top Step, where I got funded. They have this, if you're not familiar with them, they have this no greater day, or your largest day can't be greater than 50%. Depending where you close on the last day, you may have to do a third day. So I just do a quick little boop, then boom, got it funded in the smallest amount of time. So the main prop firms that I trade with, I do get asked quite a bit which ones I trade with, and Apex, Tradeify, Top Step, and Take Profit Trader are the main ones that I dance with. There are a ton out there. There are so many out there. You don't have to play with these ones. I would just simply say, just know the rules, know who you're getting in bed with before you go spending your money on them. All right, so before you apply, think about that. What happens when you say before you apply? What is typically happening in that moment? Like what does that mean? Okay. So before you apply, what it is think of it like a job. That's basically what you're doing. You're applying to a firm, you're proven to a firm that you can work for them. But what's unique about this job is your income is unlimited, your hours are up to you, and you can virtually work anywhere as long as there's a internet access to you. It doesn't matter if it's from your phone or laptop or whatever. But think of it like that. This is a job, and if you're going to trade as a job, treat it as a business instead of a hobby, then you'd have to take it seriously. But this really helps you get to that level there. So qualifying varies from firm to firm. Just make sure you know the rules. Choose the one that matches you best and one that you want to deal with. Like I said, they all are different. This particular strategy that I'm going to show you all here in actually the next slide, actually, it works on all of them. Apex is known for a high risk, high reward is what I call them, because you could really leverage yourself, but they have the most rules. But to be quite honest, the rules keep you trading correctly. To be honest, like I don't know, when people tell me when they have a hard time getting a payout from Apex, I'm like, well, something tells me there's a loophole in your discipline or in your rules, because the rules to me are pretty like they're, I don't know, common sense. I'm sorry, I'm gonna say it. They kind of seem like common sense of what they say. Anyways, but if you want to get paid, you have to follow the rules. And the key is having a trading system that aligns with funded trading. All right, so here is a quick trade example. I talked about having an internet anywhere, and you can trade from anywhere. Last week, my internet went out for like 2 days. It was a complete pain. However, I did have to, I went to Starbucks. I got me a little pumpkin spice cold brew, sipped on that, and I waited for a setup to unfold. And this was a quick little trade, $3,400 for this quick little day trade, right? And all that happened was I had my red candles telling me that price trend and momentum on the higher time frame are trending lower. I waited for a quick solid rally up to VWAP. I took a short, bam, right down to the support. Quick little trade while I was sipping it. One high probability trade at Starbucks. It was kind of funny because I have my travel monitor and my laptop, and people are walking by and they see charts moving around. And like if people come to trying to peek over my shoulder, like I can see them, and they're like trying to see what I'm doing. It always sparks people's interest. It's interesting. All right, another one. So another $2,000 day. We have my red candles here telling me price trend and momentum on the higher time frame are pointing to the downside. Price rallied up once again to VWAP, and I took it down to support for a quick 2K day, one trade, one high probability setup. And this is all spread out across multiple accounts. So this right here, this particular trade right here is in across 5 accounts. And so that's $400 per account. So how am I trading all these accounts? I'm not clicking them all at one time and it's dispersing them. If you trade with one firm, Most of them have in-house trade copiers on the platform you're using, and you just sync up the trade copier. So you'll have like a leader account. You click buy, say you click buy once, and it'll buy one contract in each account. And when you close it, it'll send it all to all the accounts. So you're clicking the button once, but it's sending it to all the accounts. Now, whenever you start trading multiple firms at one time, that's where you get a little bit it gets a little bit more tricky, and you do have to get third-party copiers and things like that. But that's a whole other discussion. But if you're doing it on one firm, they have in-house trade copiers, and you just copy it. I'm clicking the button once, but it's sending it to all the accounts, just in case that was a question out there by anybody. All right, so consistent gains, base hits across multiple accounts, they really do equal big wins. So if you think about it this way, say you have 20 accounts at Apex, and then all you have to do is make $100 to make a 2K day. And the way I could really get people wrap people's minds around how stress-free this could be is how many of y'all have traded a micro? Let's see. Show of hands. Traded a micro. You're in a position, and it's like it's moving against you, but you feel nothing because it's like so meh, right? It's not. It's going against you, but it's not really. You feel no emotion because it feels so small. But all you could risk risk $100, risk $75 to make a quick $100, right? Nothing is wrong with one-to-one trades, and if you do that consistently, that's a consistent 2 grand day across multiple accounts, and then you take out your large payouts. It doesn't have to be these huge outsized wins. You take high probability trades, high probability moment in time, and then you take these quick wins that are leveraged across multiple accounts. I did get asked a lot about like what happens if you blow the account. Actually, nothing. The account closes. You buy a new account if you want, take a break, whatever you want to do. But there is no fee or no amount of money you have to pay back to the firm. And in fact, if you never made it to the live funding side, then you literally have nothing to pay. So there's nothing to worry about there because you have nothing to pay. Because you really just, if you want to keep going, you buy another account and try again. All right. So sometimes home run trades don't present themselves. Don't get me wrong, they're great when they happen, but they don't happen very often. And so for me personally, all I do is I rely on the consistent money and I look there instead of swinging for the home runs that may or may not come. Sure, sometimes I nail the bottom, or I nail the top, and it just keeps on going. However, I always ask myself, if it stops and turned around and stopped me out at a loss of break even, I'll ask myself, am I more upset that I didn't close it and know it was a good level to get out? Or I'm gonna be upset if it keeps on running. More often than not, I'll be more upset if I didn't take my money when it was there. And then, so therefore, I just keep taking the consistent wins and go live my best life. Most of y'all said over trading whenever we talked about what is one reason that you don't, why some people don't get funded over trading. Take your quick trade and close it down and go live your life. You don't have to sit your life in front of a screen. You're not leaving your 9 to 5 to sit at home in front of a computer. Get out, live your life, and focus on those base hits and keep your expectations in check. All right, so I got a question for y'all here. I have the 5 minute and then the 1 minute on the left chart. I want to know, where would you enter? I'm going to go ahead and throw some charts. I'm pretty sure most of y'all may actually have basic uh, technical analysis. So I'll go ahead and just draw that. So here is like this little like ascending triangle. If you're a fan of the squeeze, it's probably like printing dots for a squeeze here. I'm sure there's several ways you could have traded this. One, you could have traded the breakout right here, right? So which is a one, you trade the breakout. Or you would have gotten in the middle if you're going to trade the squeeze right here. We'll call two. And then another one is maybe the retest here, three. Okay. Just looking at this with the best risk reward, where would you enter? I'm gonna have to make it disappear for a second. All right. No one has an answer. Gotcha. All right. So I'm going to tell you how this works for me. All right. So I know how to get in on this spot right here before the move happens. And this is all based off the concept of basically ATRs. So let's go ahead and go to the next screen. This is what it looks like with the whole indicator set that I personally use. And what you're looking at here is, well, we have my trend precision candles, which are the candles when they're colored blue. That means price trend and momentum on the higher time frame is higher. And then I have these ATR clouds. So this is +3 up here, -3 down here, and then I have the higher time frame EMA cloud here. So if y'all were trading with me on Monday in the Master and Trade room, this is actually a trade we took live together when we were trading, right? So price came down to the -2 ATR. We got in on that break, put our stop outside the ATR, and then we looked for price to continue up, and we got up here. We got out there, right? So what is the difference? So the big difference here is, yes, you could wait for the breakout, but sometimes the breakout don't go. And your risk, if you did play the breakout here, then your stop's gonna be all the way down here, and that's about what 30 points. Right here, if you're getting in here, your risk is 25 to, or sorry, not 25, but 20 to 15 points. So your risk is small, and you're looking for the greatest, sorry, the largest move. And so if you think about it like this, so if the market is going up, consolidating, going up, in the realm of ATRs and extension, you want to take this uptrend when price is like here. Here's the bell curve, right? 68% of the time, price stays right here. And then when price, if this way is up, we want to get in on the extension down here, looking for that slingshot back up right there. So that's where this indicator set really gets you into position at the right moments. When it comes to funded trading, I really think the difference there is you need to know where to get in at the precise moment or high probability moment in time where the market is going to turn in the other direction where you expect price to go. For me, I like to look at the higher time frame trend and momentum, but I want to get in this case, let's say we're looking at a bullish trade. I want to get in at the lower -2 to third ATR and catch the larger trend up from that extension. For me, those are key moments where price is going to turn. All right, so here's another one. Another trade I did, and let's see. All right, so here is like the 15-minute high. Price came back down, right? Got my green bars. And yes, sometimes I don't wait for price to come all the way down here. This is a key level. This is the 15-minute range high. I see it consolidating at this 15-minute range high. I have my blue candles tell me that price or momentum is going up on the upside or on the higher side. And something I've been doing here, and I'll teach y'all how to do it, is I actually place stop orders to get me into position. So like, and what I mean by that is like I'm looking at this like, hey, I think this is going to go higher. I will put a stop buy order here, and then I will, if it triggers me in, then I'll put my stop down here, and I'll take the trade up. However, if it comes up to here, like say it doesn't go, it just trickles and falls because I'm looking at it and I think, hey, I think it's going to go, but say it doesn't. I never got in position, so I'm okay. So I will place an order at those pivot points, right? Instead of me worrying about clicking the button, I'll put a stop order in and I'll let it get me in. And these type of trades happen over and over. All right. So how we can pinpoint these type of trades, let me introduce you to the trend precision tools. All right, so trend precision tools, what exactly is it? Well, it's an indicator bundle that I've created. Believe it or not, this is something I've been working with. When I was in Afghanistan, I was actually trading. It's an idea that was sparked from the multi-10x bars on steroids and the squeeze. It was actually the multi-10x bars on steroids before I even joined the Simpler team. That was actually the first class I've ever purchased from Simpler. I didn't even know what the squeeze was at the time when I bought that. But then I combined this together. I noticed these specific moments where price was turning. And I started trading. I even wrote up a whole trading plan that I had to submit to the firm, and they signed off on it. And I started trading this on a actual firm account, not these other ones that you see online. Um, but all that to be said, this is something that I've noticed that happens over and over. These are exact moments where I expect price to rotate because it pinpoints moments where higher time frame strength meets lower time frame exhaustion, printing precise buy and sell signals when the market is primed for a turn. I'm not going to lie, that kind of gives me goosebumps. It's kind of cool, if you ask me. Like, yeah, this is amazing. All right, so when this happens here, when I see this particular trader, everyone has their trade when you see it, and you're like, this is the moment that I am going to hit it hard. And this one was this particular setup here. If I see it, I love to hit it pretty solid. So what I mean by that, look, I have my blue candles. My blue candles telling me price trend and momentum on the higher time frame is up. You could change the color whatever you want. I used to have them all green. I'll show an example where it's green. But however, they say sometimes the colors spark emotion. I was like, I wonder, I want to make them into non-emotional, like buy and sell colors and see if it affects my trading. And So when blue meets blue down here, and this right here is my New York session anchored VWAP. So price came down. Look at even kissed it right here. This is my minus third ATR. We're talking about that bell curve, right? Here it price is right here at 68% of the time. Price came down to the extension, right? It's only going to stay down here for so long. If the higher time frame is up, the lower end move is only going to stay there so long. You got to remember, like I heard John Carter say this a long time ago, and it's something that stuck with me. The best trades that you get in are usually the ones that initially feel wrong. And what I mean by that is, look, how many people do you think got long up here? And then it just stopped them right here. That's probably what this flush is. These trend precision candles, when there is a dot right there, that tells you that there's greater than 50% of its average trading volume for that period. So that means a lot of volume came in on that flush. So some traders bailed right there. They bought the top and bailed. Came down to an extension where if I'm like, hey, if price is going like this higher, then I want to know how I can get in at this moment in time. And so price came down to VWAP, trend precision and momentum on the higher time frame is up. Initiate your high probability long, stop at the low, and then you just take it back up and close it up here. This particular trade was $4,500 on one day. $4,000 a day in a year is $1,000,000. I don't know if y'all know that. And so all this was is a precision entry and a disciplined exit. Yes, it actually kept going. It did. Came back up here, obviously, boom. However, you know how that's hindsight. How annoying would it have been if like I got my entry that I love taking. This is my favorite entry right here. How annoyed would I be if it came right here and then went back down? I'd be annoyed. I probably wouldn't be here talking to y'all. Simply like get out of here. You're fired. I'm just kidding. But um here is another trade. So when it comes to futures, I don't think this is talked about enough. One-to-one trades are okay. One-to-one trades are okay. So in this particular moment, price came down to support. I have my blue candles once again. Price broke above the session VWAP, and all I did was trade it up into the New York session VWAP. Look, that is a one-to-one trade. $600 per account. That was on 5 accounts right there. That's $3,000. Just boom, boom, in and out. That's all it has to be. That was enough for me, and I moved on from there. All right, so not every trade is a winner. And, I wanted to put a losing trade in here because, like it's always easy to say someone's cherry picking things. So I wanted to show y'all a trade that didn't work out. Right here, the reason I pointed out is because like when I was looking through the find one that doesn't work out, I noticed all my losses were whenever I was being a little bit impatient. The high probability trade, because as soon as I stopped out, look, I mean, it just shows the power in this little idea, right? The idea of mean reversion in the context of a higher time frame. Look, I got in long here looking for this to hold, just like it did over here, like the support, right? I got in at support again. And I was looking for a bigger move. It was long, it did come up. However, it didn't go. Look, it went boop, boop, stop me out. However, look, it came down to my minus 3 ATR and then right back up. And I was like, my gosh, I was like, well, I was just, man, I should have just waited for the bigger pullback. Sometimes those bigger pullbacks don't come. And however, I don't know. But I did take a loss there, but it does show you that waiting for those big moments right there where you have the blue candles, a down here, minus 3 ATR, that the trend always, I won't say always, is a high probability moment in time to move that direction. All right, here's another one. Where is green like I was talking about? Same thing. Green candles, price, trend, and momentum, higher time frame. Check. We get our push down to the minus 3 ATR. Check. Get our break, enter long, stop at the low. Because if you think about it, if price is going to hold here and rotate, theoretically, if you use the law of the squeeze, which is where price is compressing, price and volatility is compressing and I'm looking for an expansion. If price is starting to rotate at an extension all the way down, then it should move in the direction of the higher time frame. So you get that break there, and then boom, back up. Quick, easy trade. $4,000 on the day. Like for real, is this clicking with y'all? Are y'all understanding this? Like, is it making sense? Tell me, like, is this resonating? Am I passing this information in a solid, digestible manner that is making sense to all of you? All right, excellent. Absolutely. Love it. All right, so I just want to show you this big old equity curve here. This is when I was trading 25 accounts, and this isn't from huge outsized days. I have 25 accounts. I was having $1,000 days, $1,500 per account, and These were the largest size of the accounts here, and there weren't huge days, or sorry, huge outsized winners. There was consistent base hits happening over and over, and it just kept on trickling up. But this is the power of having 25 accounts. The leverage, it's going to sound cheesy when I say this, the leverage is just insane. It's just crazy, right? So right here, all you need to really know is, now that you know the power of just having base hits, and I'm doing this leverage through other people's money, my risk is minimized. Well, actually, I'll just say what's around here, right? So this is how I trade like a business. My profit is leveraged, and I have peace of mind because I'm not going to lose my savings account. No one wants to tell you when you lost your savings account, right? This works in up markets, down markets, volatile markets. It doesn't matter. These levels and this price action theory, I always want to call it, happens over and over. All right, so this one little psychology hack that's really changed the way I view this, and I think this did help me start trading better, is knowing that, it is like if I do lose the account, then I'm actually not like, I know I'm not going to lose my house or something like that. There is a psychological hack there. And also another thing is if I lose, granted it goes both ways. I know the sword cuts both ways. But say I lose $200 per account and I have 20 accounts. That's a $4,000 a day loss, right? Absolutely it is. However, but when it comes to a loss, my brain thinks that was only $200. If you've traded futures before, $200 is easily made back up in a hiccup. Like a market almost has to do nothing if for you to make your $200, and you're boom, you're back in the game. And then, but if I make $200, I'm like, oh, that's 4 grand, I'm good. So granted, I know it goes both ways, but there is a psychological hack of thing, and all I have to do is make $200 back. You still have plenty of room to go. Your drawdown is pretty solid still. $200 is easily made up. So there is a way to, it doesn't put you in we'll call it panic mode, right? So there's a pretty solid psychological hack there. So let me ask you, do you want my help? I'll show you how to get funded step by step. I'll teach you my funded trader system. I'll show you how to get my exact charts and indicators and their settings. And yes, you could even follow trading with me for 4 weeks, 4 solid weeks. You get a whole month of my time. All right, so here is a quick little testimonial, two of them actually. So I look at these journals, and this is from Stephanie. She took the prior funded trading course with me, and she's been hooking and jabbing. She's so what she said is, I looked at these journals of trades, and I'm impressed. Then I am even more impressed knowing that these are my trades, because the reason for me that is important is because I don't want you to have to like rely on me. The goal is for you to learn to do it on your own, and this is what she's doing here. That's why she's so proud of herself, because she took what I taught, she made it her own, and now she's successful based on what was passed to her, and she's made the trade on, and now she's able to click the buttons on her own. She still emails me every once in a while, and she's doing great. So it's kind of like that's the point. You want to learn a process. You don't want have to rely on me, and that's the goal here. Is one person was successful on it, and Sam right here. He's really gotten a lot out of my class. He's grateful, taking the time to show the amateurs the new way to trade, and he hit a milestone of obtaining 20 Apex accounts. Now he's taking the rest of the day off, just like you should. No over trading. All right, so to take advantage of the special offer, the Funded Trader System 2025. Crazy to think we're in 2025, right? So the class is $497. If you are currently a Simpler Trading member, you get $100 off. And what you get is the Funder Trader System, which is the class where I walk you through how to use all of the indicators I showed you there and all my setups that I trade with to pass these funded accounts and to take payouts. You get 4 weeks of trading live with me. This is Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Now, I do get asked why Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Well, because I want y'all to have a day to swing the bat without me there. The goal isn't for you to rely on me. The goal is for you to go try it. And if you have questions, say we trade together Monday, cool. You trade on your own on Tuesday. Something didn't click. There you have a question. Boom. Now you're asking me Wednesday, and you're getting your answer. So it helps build you. That's why it's 3 days a week. And then you also get the trend precision indicator bundle. All right, so if you are already a owner of the Trend Precision Indicator, then all you need actually is the class and 4 weeks of live trading with me. If you wish to do that, then you actually get the class with me for $350, and you'll come and trade with me once again. So there are a few members that actually already have it, and that's how much that price is for you. All right, so I already talked about what you'll be getting. Like I said, non-members are 497. If you already have the indicator package, it is 350. And if you are a member of Simpler Trading, you get $100 off. And like I said, the class will be taught on September 20th from 12 to 4, and you'll be the first to discover how I'm targeting these quick gains and how I am trying to. I won't say trying. That doesn't sound right. How I am trading as a business. And live trading will start immediately on that Monday right afterwards. Also, you will be receiving the Ultimate Guide to Funded Trading course. So this is, call it your prerequisites for the class. I go into detail on exactly what funded trading is. That way I don't have to go too much about it during the class. So we can focus on the setup. And then I explain the drawdowns, the account size. I show you how to set up your trade copier, uh, the psychology hack that I have, some things that I did that I really think was a game changer for me. What made me from non-trader to pro trader. There are some things that no one's willing to do to get you to that side, and I talk about some of them, what I think actually set me up for success. All right, so what exactly is the trend precision indicator bundle, right? So this is what it is. So first off, you have your upper cloud. This is where I'm telling you a price is going to +2 to +3 ATR. That is, well, that's supposed to be TR. So we're talking about a barrel curve, right? That's when price is extended out here. We don't want to get in at the chop. This is the chop session. We don't want to get in the chop session. We want to get in at the moment where momentum is stepping into play, right? So those are ATR clouds. So up here is the +2, and down here is the negatives, right? We'll just go -2 and 3. After that is the trend precision candles. They print when there is trend and momentum on a higher time frame down to your lower time frame. And then also when there is greater than 50% of your average volume is whenever you get these volume dots as well. And on top of that, you will get the higher time frame EMA cloud. It's just your EMA is printed from a higher time frame to your lower time frame. So this is how you're able to see how price moves from extension, going with the trend and catching it back up to another direction or in the direction of the higher time frame. And these other ones are VWAPs, and those are free with TradingView, so nothing to talk about there. And so yeah, that is what is in the indicator bundle there. All right. Also, now available interest-free payments with PayPal credit if that is something you wish to do. You get interest-free for 6 months, and yeah, nothing else to talk about there. If you want to put it on credit interest-free for 6 months, there is PayPal for you. All right. So, got questions? Here is a phone number. Please call 512-266-8659. We have our entire staff on the line ready to answer your questions. And if you'd rather not talk to anybody, which is fair, most people are that way, you can email support@simplertrading.com to get all your answers as well, if there are any tech type questions there. And once again, like I mentioned, if you're non-members, then it's 497. If you're a Simpler Trading member, then it is 397. If you already have the indicator, it is 350. All right, yep, and right there. And like I said, get the class and live trading with me. All right, common questions asked. Well, okay, we'll spitball through these real quick and just to make sure everyone has these answers, and then the line will be open for y'all to go ahead and ask all kinds of questions you have for me. Is funded trading just a simulation account? I did answer that in the beginning of this webinar, but like I said, um, not all of it. You can get to a live side, but you do go to sim funding and then you get to the funded side. Do I need to make money every day? You do not have to place a trade every single day. If you like to trade higher time frame, this setup is valid on every time frame. In fact, I do this setup on options. Like if I see a 15-minute signal on an hourly trend, I'll trade some SPX options on it and trade into the next day. Same thing. You could. This setup is valid across all products. This price action theory, I guess is what I'm going to call it, happens in everything. All right. So, but no, you do not have to trade every single day. How do you get paid? That depends on the firm. And okay, so do I have to pay back losses? I already answered that. No, you don't. What if you've never been profitable? Well, hopefully this helps you get there. And so if you haven't been, maybe I am just what you need. Can new traders qualify? Absolutely, you can. What if I don't need 20 accounts? That's fantastic. Like I said, start with one account, take a payout, prove to yourself you get a payout, and then take it a step further and buy more if you want. I mean, you don't have to. If you want to buy more accounts, buy more and just keep leveraging yourself. If you get one payout, if you can take your first $2,000 payout, imagine where you're at with 10. That $2,000 payout now turns into 20. How different would your life be if you're making an extra $20,000 a month? Ask yourself that. And all you're doing is trading the same setup. You're still trading that same account. The only difference is it's going to multiple accounts. That is the only difference. And how long does it take to get funded? That depends on market price action really and what's going on. But for me lately, it's been anywhere from 1 to 3 days. So covered that. All right, and that is it. So I will go ahead and let the questions start rolling in. Let me get my Q&A tab open. All right. So, all right. So the staff, what they're doing, if you feel like I'm ignoring you, I am not, because there are a lot of you talking. That is fantastic. So sometimes, as you talk, the chat runs on through. So we do have staff there. What they are doing is they're copying the question, they're sending it to me through a question and answer tab, and that is where I will answer you. And I'm just going to answer them as they come up. All right. So all right, so Robert Armstrong. Okay, how long did I stay funded with my accounts? That varies actually from what's going on. Sometimes, like for me personally, if I usually take anywhere from 1 to 2 payouts per time frame, and usually because after you take a payout, your account gets smaller, and after you take one loss, or say you take a series of a few losses, for me personally, if I get down to where I have like $200 left to draw down, you have two options. I have actually I didn't even mention this on here. I actually am not married to these accounts. Like if I lose it, that is fine with me. Like, I just buy more, get funded, and do it again. So whenever people get so concerned, oh, you lost the accounts. Yeah, I'll get more. Not a big deal. And so for me, like whenever I get them and I take my two payouts or whatever, and then say I start to get down, say I only have like 100, like I mentioned, 100, $200 left to draw down, I'll go in looking. I won't change to micros. I won't change to different account sizes. I'm like, I think this is where it's going to go. If it doesn't go, I'd rather just lose it and start fresh instead of like, oh, $100 this day, $100 this day, $100 this day. For me, it's just safer. However, if that's something you want to do, that's fine. But that is typically uh what happens there. Sorry. So yes, I have the average life is about 1 to 2 payouts per time, and I have had accounts where I don't get a payout either. I mean, that's actually happened to me too. Like full honesty, yeah. Sometimes I won't get an account. I'm like, oh, Lee, I'm just not driving with the market right now, and I'll take a loss. And then to get started was that $2,000 to generate 187,000. I initially invested 2,000. And let's see. I don't see any more open questions popping in there. Yes, Edwin, I will go over how to use the indicators in the class. Yes, I will. That is correct. No point in getting indicators you don't know how to use them. Absolutely. So during the class, what I will be doing is I'll show you the setups I trade. It's not just the indicators. I have some setups where the indicators are relevant. I show you all the setups I use to trade futures with. And there's quite a few actually. And I'll show you how to trade them, how I manage them, how I look for targets, so on and so forth. I'll show you everything and all things that I know day trading futures, specifically around funded trading. Can I trade in a bearish market? Absolutely, Thomas, absolutely. Because when the market goes down, it goes down much faster, right? So, but yes, and even there was a few examples where they were bearish trades, right? If I go back this way, so that was bullish, bullish, but bearish trade off of VWAP, boom, bearish trade. Small it did turn, but you can see how it still was a valid trade there. But yes, absolutely, it does work there. And Kyle, one of your what's my personal favorite firm and why? Okay, so if we're talking about favorite, I will say this. So when it comes to no hassles, answers clear, payouts are fast, support staff is solid, all that. I've had excellent success that way with Tradeify. When it comes down to the my largest payouts and everything is Apex because simply just because you have more accounts. So those are the two that I play with the most. Um, Not to say the other ones aren't good, but that's just I'm sorry, that's just the two that I play. And eventually, you kind of get to a point where you have too many accounts, but that's actually where I am. That's where I think is my favorite. Either if you're looking for a good support staff, no tricky rules and things like that, Tradeify is certainly a way to go, especially with their straight to funded accounts as well. Will we get access to a refresher in a month? Shiny object. That is a question you'd have to ask support. Honestly, I have no idea. Not to say I do not know the answer. I just honestly have no idea. I am available in the Mesh and Trade Room at the moment on Fridays. Tradeify wants you to go live after 6 payouts, I believe. There's shiny object. Yes, Dr. Bob, did you? I believe I got an email from you on this question, right? So I did get the question like, so TradingView, can you trade on TradingView? Yes, you can. So the way if you're going to do this on TradingView is you get a Tradeivate account, and then on your TradingView, like so whenever you're signing up for your account, the broker you're going to sign with, you choose Tradeivate. And then when you go to TradingView, you can go trading panel and you just log into your Tradeivate account from the credentials that the firm gives you on your Tradeivate account, and then boom, you're there. So that's all there is. That's all there is to it. You get your Tradeivate account and you log in TradingView. So yes. And let's see. I'm using TradingView for charting and I'm executing in Tradeivate. Tradeivate is the main one I mess with. I have no issue. TradingView is solid. TradingView charts everything. TradingView is a very well versed charting platform in my opinion. Like it handles the data well. I've had no complaints with it. It hasn't froze when Thinkorswim is freezing. I know that much. When you're trying to trade and the market volume hits the market and then you hear your computer get loud and the fan kick on, but however, your chart's not moving. Well, TradingView is moving while Thinkorswim is not. Oh yeah, absolutely, John. So this is I guess I can talk about this, John Slaughter. So, all right. So your question is, since indicators are not on Thinkorswim, can I run it on TradingView and just execute another program? Yes. In fact, like to me, that just kind of seems like a common. I don't want to say common sense, like it's because it's the way I had to do. So whenever I first started trading for that firm, um, in 2016, so they use Interactive Brokers as their master account. So I have to trade on Interactive Brokers. That's where I execute my trades. But their charting and systems, all that stuff, are not no bueno, not very good. So I would actually chart on Thinkorswim, but I would enter my trades on Interactive Brokers. So in this case, if you don't want to use a funded account and you want to use your personal account for these type of setups or anything like that, or you're going to trade options with it, trading options with this setup works too. If that is something you're wanting to do, then yeah, absolutely. Just use TradingView as your charting and then execute wherever you want and trade whatever you want to do. You could, if you're charting on ES, you could absolutely do this on SPX or the SPY, or if you're going to look at the NQ, absolutely the NDX or Qs. The setup is repeatable across all products, so it's up to you really on what you want to trade. Yes, NinjaTrader is a broker you can use. So all the questions about like the broker, like what can you put, that is based on your firm. What does the firm offer you? Whenever you purchase, like it says, your account, and you click, I want this one, just say which broker do you want? And so I have like Tradeivate, NinjaTrader, not QuantView, but Quant Tower or whatever. They have all kinds. That's where you pick the ones you would like to trade with. I didn't take any trades today. I actually just traded SPX today. No futures trades, just SPX. Roy, if we're trading for weeks with me, should give enough. I hope so. We will see. That's really on you. How much work are you willing to put into it? And are we able to pay to continue trading with me? That is something we'll have to identify as time progresses, really. Oh, there was I guess Lorna got that question there. All right. You are welcome. Checked by relatives. There will be a replay. Most of our stuff, you will get a replay sent to you, sent to your email. Okay. Let's go on through the chat. See any other questions pertaining to this? The arrows, so these arrows are high of low bars. These are actually not part of the indicator package. These right here. These are just high of low bar or reverse arrows. They're in the simpler trading store. When price breaks the new 21 bar high and the candle closes below that candle, then you get like an arrow. That's all that means. They're pretty helpful when trading this way or this particular method. If that's something you have, it easily adds to this indicator bundle. However, it's not necessary. But if it is something you want, it's there. So you are welcome. All right, we good? Everyone's solid? All right. Give y'all guys a few more seconds for last minute questions, but seems like everything is good. Yes, I do use a squeeze. And yes, multiple time frames. For the most part, when I'm day trading, I'm using the 2 and 5 or 2 and 15. But if I'm using a larger time frame, then I'm usually using like the 5 and 15 or like the 15 and 30. Depends what product I'm trading, is really what it is. If I am looking to do like a, if I'm looking to do a, like an SPX trade, I would usually do a spread, so I would need a bigger time frame. So like if I'm gonna do that, then I'm gonna look on a 15-minute time frame and a 30-minute, so forth. But if I'm going to do like a swing trade into the next day, that's something you could do a lot too. Is if you get an entry signal on the 30-minute chart and then it's in alignment with the higher time frames, then I'll swing trade SPX into the following day. Um, and some of that's obviously not funded accounts stuff, but that's how valid the setup is. You get the same thing. You just trade it to the next day. All right, scrolling. All right then. CRS, you're trying to get funded, can only trade options. You can only trade up to 10 options at one time to get profitable. Are you trading with funded trader or funder, or is that what that's called? Because they have that 22-day thing, right? Isn't that right? And you can't have $500. Yeah. Um, yeah, I mean yeah, it works. You just trade a larger time frame. So absolutely. You would just, so if I'm looking at 10, like at the 2 and 5 minute or 2 and 10, you would, if we're depending on your style of trading, what they only do long calls and puts, right? Is that right? Right. Okay. Only long calls and puts. Right. So that's where it gets a little bit trickier. So my issue with that is like you have to have such a large move, in my opinion, for it to be meaningful in that type of trade. So it's the system is repeatable. It happens over and over. Uh, but yeah, it could be used. If you can only do long calls and puts, so then to answer your question, yes. I personally would like to do spreads on it just to catch it that way. But yeah, I talked to them a while back. I was trying to get them to change some things. Actually, a year and a half ago, actually, is when I was talking to them. However, yeah, you could do the SPX thing. You could thank me for that one when I was talking to them. But as far as Thinkorswim goes, the reason why this isn't available on Thinkorswim is because the VWAP is different on here. So Thinkorswim, its VWAP is its anchored VWAP is actually plotted differently, and Thinkorswim is where it's a lot easier to plot and it's a lot more accurate in my opinion. And so that's why I go with TradingView. That's why it's not on Thinkorswim, because the VWAP and is a very solid indicator. It's not even an indicator. It's like a location we're expecting price to either respect the trend or change, because it is the balance of buyers and sellers. And so if you that's why it's on TradingView, actually. Just I feel like I'm rambling on it, but yeah, that is why it's there. All right, can I explain how many contracts I take at 1K drawdown? Also meet the consistency rules. Okay. Well, I see that question there. I'm not sure if you're, but that says Lorna saying it. For training, that's a good question. So you need the premium package, I believe, and then you want the live data feed for the ES, NQ, YM, Russell, oil, and gold. Those are the main six that I keep eye on. And they have them bundled too. I think it's $17 a month for those three live datas. I could be wrong, but that is kind of like where I do that. The indicators alone, they are not being sold alone. No, Apex Live Data does not cover the data on TradingView. It might. I pay for it. My thought is do I want to rely on them, or can I just pay over 17 bucks? If they do, I am not aware of it and I haven't done that route. I just pay my own TradingView stuff. Exactly, Christopher. All the questions about how to trade, contract size, and all that stuff will be covered in the class. And they're always, those type of questions are very much account size specific. There's not a one size fits all. Yes, classes are recorded, absolutely. And you will have them for a lifetime. And I usually trade the first 2 hours of the day. First 2 hours. For the most part, the market's moving in one direction or another at those times, and I try to take advantage of those moments. No, it's not available on wealth charts. Yes, so 8:30, 10:30 Central. Sometimes it goes over. Sometimes the market setup doesn't get there early. Like, so I'll tell y'all now, like a setup for me, if I don't see my setup within the first 2 hours, usually there's a reversion to VWAP in the afternoon. So then I'll wait for a reversion to the VWAP in the afternoon and take that entry there if I'm not seeing any other setup. Because sometimes if there's no setup, your job is to wait for the setup to present itself and sit on your hands. In most cases, I am done within the first 2 hours, but sometimes it doesn't happen. Typically 1 to 2, David. Most of the time 1, to be quite honest, but that's pretty much it. Is it still available only tonight? I believe you can get it Friday. Yeah, someone that knows more than me should answer that one, to be quite honest. I believe that's just what the price is right there. So I don't think it's just a today thing. On average, 1 to 2. Okay, offer is available to the class. There y'all guys go. All right, honest opinion, everybody. How did I look in the wig? Honest opinion, everybody. Okay, so yes, everything is recorded. Scary. Oh, come on, Dr. Bob. Come on, Bob. VWAP is not time frame specific. VWAP is specific to price and volume. It doesn't matter what time frame you plot it on. Absolutely ready for Halloween. All right. Well, it seems like we got most of the questions answered. If you have any more, like I said, feel free to reach out to support and they will help you out there. If they can't, they will obviously forward the question straight to me. But it looks like most of y'all got your questions here. And I'll just head on back over this way. And like I said, this is like, I just, from the bottom of my heart, like, I just want you to know that this has been a pretty solid game changer in terms of trading for me. I used to only off or try to swing for anywhere from like $200 to $500 a day. That's all I used to go for. And why just that? Because you got to remember, I was trading. All I wanted to do was pay my bills. Sure, the more the money, the better. But that comes with time. So, and then after I started leveraging, I'm going for those same $200 to $500 trades. It's just now spread out across everything. And it has been such a change in so many different ways. It is a huge game changer. The setup, in my opinion, is quite a, I don't know, it's in my mind, it's simplistic. And I'm hoping it is simplistic to you as well. If your strategy can be simplistic, then the trading, in my opinion, can be repeatable and it will keep happening over and over. So I like to say thank you all for spending your evening with me. And I'm hoping that I get to see a lot of you on Saturday morning, or sorry, Saturday afternoon. Bring your pen, paper, coffee, water, and be ready to learn some things. And we will get trucking along and then start live trading on Monday after that. So, y'all have a fantastic night. Thank you again so much, and y'all take care.